It's interesting how quickly the conversation shifted around Grand Theft Auto 6, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
One minute we're all buzzing about that incredible trailer. The next we're dissecting the news of a 2026 release.
Mm,
That delay has definitely put Rockstar's strategy under the microscope for a lot of us.
absolutely. The initial wave of excitement was huge, but that follow-up announcement really focused attention on the bigger picture.
Like, what's Rockstar actually trying to achieve here?
Exactly.
And that's exactly what we're diving into. You've been thinking about it, we've been thinking about it. What are the strategic implications if Rockstar decides to hold back the launch of their next big online world?
Right, the GTA Online successor.
Let's just call it GTA Online 2 for now, even if the name ends up being different. Holding it back until after the single-player game arrives in 2026.
Especially considering the main game itself already saw a delay. It adds another layer.
It really does. So what are the potential upsides to that kind of move?
Well, it's a compelling strategic move to consider, and it's not without precedent for Rockstar.
Oh, yeah.
If we look back at their two most recent behemoths, GTA 5
Right.
and Red Dead Redemption 2,
Right.
both had their online components launch a little after the main game, maybe a month or two later, I think.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. And wasn't there some, like, frustration around that at the time, people wanting to jump straight into multiplayer?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That staggered definitely left some players feeling a bit impatient, especially those really eager for the online stuff.
For sure, but let's dig a bit deeper here. GTA 6 is projected to be one of the most expensive games ever created.
Astronomical cost, yeah.
And it's guaranteed to sell millions, just boatloads of copies.
No question.
But when we look at the long game, isn't that online component the real powerhouse? The thing that keeps generating revenue for years?
That's such a critical point to understand. While the initial sales figures for GTA 6 will be massive, absolutely huge, the long-term financial engine for Rockstar, based on their history,
Right.
is undoubtedly going to be that online platform.
Right, like with GTA 5 Online.
Exactly. Think about the sheer volume of content that has been rolled out for GTA 5 Online over, what, a decade now?
Yeah, it's incredible. New missions, cars, clothes, even big expansions.
That's the established playbook. Ongoing updates, microtransactions, that's where the sustained income lies.
Okay, so if online is the long-term money machine, why potentially delay it? It feels like maybe their marketing is hinting at this strategy already.
How so?
Well, that second trailer really put the spotlight squarely on the single-player narrative, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Much more focus on the characters, the story.
We got a much closer look at Lucia and Jason, their relationship, the vibe of the story. It suggests a real deliberate emphasis on that core single-player experience first.
I agree. Rockstar has cultivated such a strong reputation for delivering rich, compelling single-player stories with really memorable characters. This isn't just a playground for whatever the online mode becomes. The narrative experience is clearly a point of significant pride and investment for them.
We've seen that commitment consistently in their past work, like Max Payne, Red Dead, the previous GTAs.
Exactly. Strong storytelling is kind of their brand.
Which leads you to wonder about those previous delayed online launches you mentioned. Take Grand Theft Auto 5.
Okay.
Could that initial period where players were solely focused on the single-player game have actually helped characters like Lamar and Trevor become so huge?
That's a fascinating angle. I hadn't quite thought of it that way, but it makes sense.
They became cultural touchstones, right? Generating countless memes, discussions.
Yeah, maybe by giving players that dedicated time with the single-player world first, it allowed for a deeper immersion, a stronger connection with those characters.
Without the immediate pull of online missions and grinding, maybe.
Exactly. Free from that distraction. And then you look at Red Dead Redemption 2.
Right, the prequel.
It was a prequel, so we all kind of knew how Arthur Morgan's story would end, more or less.
Yeah, the broad strokes anyway.
Yet the power of that narrative, the writing, the performances, it resonated incredibly strongly with players. It was all about the journey.
It really did, despite knowing the destination.
That speaks volumes about their confidence in the single-player element.
And it really begs the question, if GTA Online had been available from day one with GTA 5, how many players might have just dived straight into that? Maybe skipped the single-player campaign or at least rushed through it?
That's a real possibility.
Right.
That immediate draw of the online world, the constant activity, playing with friends.
Yeah, the social aspect.
It could have been too strong to ignore for a lot of people.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Precisely. And these single-player campaigns, they represent an enormous investment. Time, resources, creativity. You could call it a labor of love, right?
Absolutely. Years of development, writing, acting.
So launching the online component simultaneously carries this inherent risk of overshadowing that entire effort.
It's like serving dinner and dessert at the exact same time.
Huh. That's a good analogy, actually, yeah. The immediate allure of the dessert, the online part, might distract from the carefully prepared substance of the main course, the single player.
Right. The concern would be that the core loops of GTA Online, the progression, making money, doing missions with your crew.
Building your empire, the social stuff.
Yeah, all those hooks could be so immediately engaging that players might not dedicate the time needed to fully appreciate the single-player story.
And you add to that the expectation, based on GTA 5, that GTA 6 Online will have this constant stream of new content dropping.
Oh, for sure. Weekly updates, big DLCs.
That creates this feeling of FOMO, right? Fear of missing out.
Definitely. If your friends are all jumping into the new online heist or race,
You might feel pressured to join them, even if you haven't finished the story yet. That FOMO could be a significant factor right from the start if both launch together.
that makes a lot of sense. The online mode is just built differently.
Absolutely. It's explicitly designed for long-term player retention and engagement. It wants to keep you coming back daily, weekly.
And maybe that's even more critical now than it was back with GTA 5.
Well, when you consider the broader context of, like, the modern gaming landscape,
Yeah.
this strategic decision becomes even clearer.
What do you mean?
We've seen data suggesting a trend over the past 10, 15 years maybe, of declining game completion rates across the industry.
Huh, really? People aren't finishing games as much.
Generally speaking, yeah, there are just so many competing forms of entertainment vying for our attention now.
It's true. Streaming, social media, other games.
Everything's offering those quick hits of dopamine.
Yeah.
Short-form video, constant notifications.
Yeah, the attention economy.
Exactly. And GTA 6's single player, no matter how amazing or ambitious it is, will be launching right into that environment. It's competing against everything.
So delaying the online launch, it could be seen as, what, a form of respect for the single-player game?
I think that's a really good way to put it, giving it dedicated space to breathe.
Letting players immerse themselves without feeling rushed or distracted by the inevitable pull of the online world.
Yeah. It's sort of a reminder that these Grand Theft Auto games offer more than just, a chaotic sandbox or a murder simulator, as some people call them.
Right, they have a genuine narrative core, complex characters,
And
themes.
It's an acknowledgement of the artistic and storytelling ambitions that underpin that single-player game. They clearly value that aspect immensely.
And looking ahead, the new GTA Online, whatever it becomes.
It's almost certainly going to be designed as an incredibly powerful attention magnet.
Competing not just with other games, but with Netflix, TikTok, everything.
Everything that vies for our leisure time.
Mhm.
So strategically delaying its arrival could be a calculated way to shield that meticulously crafted single-player experience from that intense competition, at least right out of the gate.
Okay, so just to kind of wrap our heads around this, the potential benefits of delaying the launch of, let's stick with GTA Online 2. They seem primarily focused on allowing that single-player narrative to be fully experienced and appreciated first.
Giving it his own moment in the sun.
Letting it shine and resonate with players before the inherently more immediate and constantly evolving online mode takes center stage.
Precisely. It's about providing that initial focused window for this single-player campaign to make its impact.
Before the long-term engagement hooks of the online world really dig in.
Exactly. Let the story land first.
Of course. If this is the strategy they go with, it will likely be a source of disappointment for some players.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Those folks who are primarily counting down the days until they can jump into the online multiplayer with their friends.
That's a completely understandable sentiment. For a significant portion of the audience, probably a huge portion, the online component is the main draw. They might see a delay as just waiting longer.
Yeah, you can see why they'd feel that way.
Cully.
But it really makes you think about the bigger picture, doesn't it? How the increasing sophistication and, frankly, the effectiveness of those engagement loops in online gaming,
Yeah, they're getting really good at keeping us hooked.
how that might be fundamentally reshaping how we even experience single-player narratives now.
That's a deep question.
And the incredibly complex strategic calculations that developers like Rockstar have to make, trying to ensure that both crucial aspects of these massive games get the attention they feel they deserve.
It's a balancing act, for sure.
Yeah.
How do you launch something that needs quiet focus alongside something designed for constant, loud engagement?
Yeah. And maybe think about your own habits. Do you prioritize that long, immersive story experience first? Or are you more drawn these days to the immediate buzz and social connection of online spaces?
It's definitely something worth pondering as we wait for 2026. How have our own gaming priorities shifted?
A fascinating question for sure.